Alright guys, welcome to part 2 of the Honda 400EX build. Last video we put the cylinder and piston on, as well as the rings and the gaskets. We left off where we were going to torque down these bolts right here, but I left my torque wrench at my house. So I've got the torque wrench now, so we're all set to go with those. Kind of wanted to address one thing. In the comments section, a lot of people said that I should be lapping the valves. And I was actually going to today, but I did some more research, and it turns out that the material that you lap the valves with is very sandy and gritty. And if that gets in between the seals, my brand new seals that I put on, that will make the seals bad. So what I'm thinking is that we're just going to leave it how it is. I know a lot of people are like, oh, you're cutting corners, blah, 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 blah. I'm not cutting corners. I would have done it, but this is my first ever 4-stroke build this far into it. So what we're gonna do is, if we have problems in the future with the valves not shutting all the way, which we shouldn't because they look pretty good when I cleaned them, I will take apart the head, get all new seals, and get all new valves, and lap the valves. That's what we're gonna do. But right now, we're just going to put the head on for right now, because I don't want to take off all the seals and wreck all of those again and then order some new ones, because by then it'd be, what, 2 weeks from now before we can even start to rebuild this thing. So let's just take a chance, go with this, and it is what it is. Just wanted to address that before we start building. But next step, let's torque down those bolts and then go from there. Alright guys, time to torque down these bolts. Right now we're going to set the torque wrench to about 10 and go in a crisscross pattern, just tightening all those bolts up. Alright, then we'll go up to 20. So as you can see, go up to 20 right there. And then do the same thing, crisscross pattern. .32 foot-pounds. Right there. Alright, we're all good there. Torque down to 32 foot-pounds. Alright guys, we installed the cam chain guide right there. You shouldn't be able to flip that up, so that's engaged. We're going to put the gasket on. The head gasket goes like this. Feed that up. Alright, now we're ready to install the head. There should be 2 spacers that go in here. Those are already attached. Just one last inspection of the head before we put that guy in there. Everything looks good. Made sure all the valves seat. So we should be good there. Also make sure you've got the decompressor right there with the spring. This is going to go on this way. Same thing, feed it in. Kind of tough with one hand. Alright, now the head is on. So there's going to be 4 washers, 1, 2, 3, 4 that we have to install. Again, be careful of this washer right here. Very close to that chain, and you could easily drop that washer in there. Alright, head nuts are all tight. We're going to torque those down. Let me just quick check the torque specs on those. Also guys, don't forget the two little bolts that go on the side of the engine right here. Two little 8 mils. Alright guys, these bolts right here are all going to be 32 foot-pounds. Going to start out with 15 and then go in a crisscross pattern. Alright, those are all set to 32 foot-pounds. Alright guys, we got the camshaft installed. I'm just going to go over the quick process of how I did this. Okay, so the first thing I did was set the motor to top dead center on the compression stroke. So if you look in here, there's a little T mark that you line it up with. And for the compression stroke, the piston should be all the way up at the top of the cylinder. So you can stick something down here, down the spark plug hole, and then turn over the motor, and you should be able to feel it pull up and then push down. So right before it pushes down, you know you're at top dead center. So that's that T mark. The next one, 180 degrees down, is when the piston's all the way down. But anyway, you want the piston all the way up, which is the compression stroke for top dead center. And then you can put the camshaft in. And when you put this camshaft in, you're going to want all the lobes on the camshaft pointing down. So you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, all the lobes are pointing down towards the head. And then if you have that correctly, you're going to see two lines right there, one right there, and one right there. It's hard to see. One right there, and one right there. You can see those are level with the head. So if you have those level, you're all set to go. We're all set. Alright, once the timing marks are all lined up, you've got these two little dowels. These go on either side. Right here. Alright, now we're going to take a little bit of oil and lube up the cam a little bit. Alright guys, before we put the cover and gasket on, we need to do the cam chain tensioner right here. So there's a little bit of a process right here to get this thing to compress. So what we can do is, I took off this little cap bolt that was on here, and inside of here there's a small little screw, and what you do is you rotate this clockwise, and as you can see, it's compressing that spring and pulling that in. And then get it all the way in. And you should be able to take the screwdriver out and it should stay like that if you did it correctly. Right there. Alright, now what we can do is take this. See how it's compressed? Take this over to the quad. put this guy back in. All right, that's in there. Now we're just gonna take that screwdriver and tap that a little bit. And what it should do is the spring should now compress the cam chain. All right, guys, that's all nice and tight on there. We can reinstall the cap. All right, all good to go for the cam chain tensioner. We're gonna rotate the engine around and just see if that works here. All right, since that's all oiled up, we can put the gasket on. Alright guys, I just readjusted all the valves. 0.04 inches for the intake, 0.05 inches for the exhaust. So those are all set, good to go. Alright guys, got the pipe on, got the carburetor on. Just a couple more things to add. Gotta add the gas tank and a couple more other things. But we're gonna try testing it out first, just to make sure that timing's correct, and then we'll put it all back together. But we gotta get the silencer on here, and probably the gas tank, and then we'll try it out, I think. Should be exciting. I'm very interested to see if it's gonna run. Should run, but will it smoke is the question. So, fingers crossed it won't smoke. Oh man, that would be horrible, wouldn't it, if it still smoked. Alright, first start coming up here pretty soon. Gotta get the spark plug in. Alright, spark plug in. We're going to put the gas tank on next. Alright guys, gas tank is on it. Gas is on, choke is on. Everything is hooked up correctly. All the wires are hooked up correctly. I think we're good to go. first start. We're just gonna see if it cranks over. If it starts, we can put everything back on it. But I just want to put minimal amount on it before we crank it over, just to make sure the timing's correct. Everything else is connected, it looks like. Oh, that guy's not. We gotta connect that guy. That's important. Alright guys, moment of truth. Will it start? Here we go. Just want to check over everything one more time. I grab some hearing protection just in case this thing starts up. I don't have the muffler on it. Alright, here we go. Alright guys, moment of truth, here we go. Alright, well it's starting. We're gonna put the air box on. Alright, air box is on. Let's attempt this one more time. I didn't want it to be too lean. I just wanted to hear it start up. Alright, so to break in the new piston, the cycle is like this. We let it warm up, blip the throttle every so often for about 5 to 10 minutes, and then we're going to let it cool down to the touch. When while we're doing that, we're going to put everything back on it. Seems to run really good. I didn't see smoke coming out of it at all, so I think we fixed it, which is awesome. We'll have to really break it in and see, but right now, pretty optimistic about it. We're going to put everything back on the bike, and then we're going to wait till it cools down to the touch, which might take 20 minutes, might take an hour, who knows. But then we're going to start it up again, blip the throttle for another 10 minutes, let it cool down to the touch again by itself, and then again, let it blip again for another 10 minutes, and then let it cool down again, and then take it for a slow ride, and then let it cool down, then take it for a faster ride, let it cool down, and then that's the process. I've used that on pretty much every bike, and it's worked pretty well. Alright guys, let's attempt to start this thing again. I think we got her idling. I don't see any smoke. Alright guys, absolutely zero smoke coming out of that pipe. So I'm pretty sure we fixed it. So that feels pretty good. We replaced the piston, the valve seals, cleaned up the valves, and now we're not getting any smoke. Fingers crossed for next time. But thanks for watching guys. We got a lot done today. Got the whole motor back together. Got the pipe on, and the gas tank on, and the air filter on. All we have to do is put the plastics on, and I think we're going to be good to go with this quad. Next video, we're going to be taking a test drive on it, so stay tuned for that. Should be pretty fun. We have to break it in still, take a test drive, then we can ride it, have fun with it. Maybe we'll take it somewhere, rip it around, and it's going to be awesome. If you guys want any motorcycle, ATV, dirt bike, or scooter parts, check out lab2.com. Also, we just added some sweet LED light kits for your bikes. They pretty much work for any motorcycle. I'll leave them right here. They're pretty sweet. Definitely go check them out. They're on lab2.com as well. Anyway guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Stay tuned for next video. Till next time, we are out.